in the history of the world. No other book is as old as this. It's over 5,000 years old. First time it was spoken was 140 million years ago. That means there's no other book like this. Okay, so today we're reading from the second chapter, text 44. Is that right?
Mhm.
Pugaisvarya prasaktanam tayaparata chetasa. Vyavasayatmika buddhi samadana vidyate. And this verse says, the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So this is a very important verse. And why is it important? Because it explains why many, many different people are never really interested in devotional service. So I'll read that again. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, the Nirukti, says, Samyak adiyate stamin atma tattva yatat myam. Yathatmyam. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment, nor for those who are bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so this is a short verse and a short purport, but it has a huge, let's say, huge meaning for people who are engaged in spiritual life. So, everything depends on what's going on in our mind. That means that if we engage in different weapons of mass distraction, there's weapons of mass destruction, and there's weapons of mass distraction. What are those weapons? Well, there's television, there's radio, there is cell phones, there's computers, and so forth. These are all weapons of mass distraction. So, if we indulge in these weapons of mass distraction, then it says, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment. That's what the weapons of mass distraction do. It engages us in becoming attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence also, and who are bewildered by such things. The resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Now we know why there's so many atheists, so many non-devotees in the world. They're wasting their life and life energy in things that are weapons of mass distraction. Why do I say weapons of mass distraction? Well, it is like a uh, uh, a uh, a weapon that is meant for killing people. So all the television programs, all the movies, all the different books, and so forth, they're all weapons of mass distraction that take your mind away from Krishna. And they're big books. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky. Yeah, he was a famous Russian writer. And he would write these big books like that. And all his books, well, he was very famous. You want to look up Dostoevsky, Russian, uh, he was a Russian, what do you call that? Writer.
Yeah, Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky, yeah.
Dostoevsky.
Go ahead, say something about him.
Early life and background, born in 1821, in Moscow, Russia, experienced a tumultuous early life, including death of his parents and financial difficulties. He's got major works, Crime and Punishment,
Yes, Crime and Punishment is that's his most famous book.
a psychological drama exploring the moral dilemmas of a young, impoverished student.
Young what?
Impoverished student,
Impoverished student, yes. Young impoverished student, yes.
Raskolnikov, who commits a murder. So,
Why did he commit a murder? Because he was poor, but he was young. And he saw that there was this man who was old, but who had a lot of money. And he said, what good is that money to that old man? I mean, I'm young. I should have that money. So what's he do? He kills the old man. Go ahead, read it. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know.
Crime and Punishment.
Yeah, Crime and Punishment. After he kills him, then he becomes a target of a policeman. And now he's in immense, let's say, fear. And the whole story after that is how he's overwhelmed by the fear of getting caught by this policeman. And that's why it says Crime and Punishment.
So here is the plot summary. Rodion Raskolnikov, that's the student, is a former student living in poverty in St. Petersburg. He's intelligent but mentally unstable, deeply conflicted about his place in the society. And Raskolnikov develops a theory that certain extraordinary individuals have the right to commit crimes if it benefits humanity. He believes that he is such an extraordinary person.
To kill himself?
No, to kill others for the benefit of humanity. And he thinks that certain people have the right to commit crimes. To test his theory, Raskolnikov plans and executes the murder of an unscrupulous pawnbroker, Alyona Ivanova.
He's a rich man.
Yeah, whom he views as a parasite. During the crime, he is unexpectedly forced to kill her innocent half-sister.
Her?
He's unexpectedly forced to kill. Oh yeah, so the lady Alyona.
That's the lady.
That's the lady he first wants to kill.
Yeah.
But then somebody like her sister, half sister,
happens to be there
and walks into the scene, and then suddenly
he has to kill her also.
He kills her also. After the murder, he experiences intense guilt, paranoia, and confusion. His psychological state deteriorates as he becomes increasingly tormented by his actions. He interacts with several characters. poor but kind-hearted prostitute who becomes confident and moral compass for him, Sonia, and then Porfiry Petrovich, that's astute and methodical police investigator who suspects Raskolnikov and engages him in psychological cat and mouse game.
Yeah, cat and mouse game. From that point on, he's always in fear
Mm.
because the policeman knows who he is, and it's like a cat and mouse game. The cat plays with the mouse.
Ultimately, he confesses his crime to Sonia and
What?
later to the authorities. Sonia is the prostitute.
Right.
He is sentenced to Siberian exile, where Sonia follows him. Through his suffering and Sonia's unwavering support, he begins to find a path to spiritual redemption and moral regeneration. The novel ends on a note of hope, suggesting that Raskolnikov's journey of atonement and moral awakening has just begun. The epilogue hints at the possibility of his eventual redemption through suffering and love.
It would be much better if he never killed anybody. But he uh, convinced himself that he should kill because he's young and he's poor and in the prime of his life. And this person that he killed was an older person, a very old person. So he just got this, uh, so-called uh, realization that it's right to kill this older person and take his money so that he can enjoy life. But what did happen to him? He was overwhelmed by fear, where he was being, uh, you know, investigated, and he felt as if, little by little, they're getting closer and closer to catching him, and it was like worse than hell. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And that's Dostoevsky, right?
Yes.
Crime and Punishment. It's a
He
big book. It's a big, big book.
also wrote two other books. The Idiot focuses on the life of Prince Mishkin, whose innocence and goodness lead to tragic consequences. And then there's Demons, also known as the Possessed or the Devils, the political novel that critiques radical political movements.
Haribol Prabhu, how are you? Hare Krishna. Okay, back to Dostoevsky.
Mhm.
So it's all about crime and punishment. So, I mean, the story basically, in my understanding of it, is to convince people it's not worth committing a crime because it completely destroys your life. And in the end, you're going to get caught anyway. And then you're going to ask for forgiveness. And, it just complicates life so much. It's better not to do it. But the boy, it's a boy, right? That kills.
Mhm.
He used his, let's say, thought process to convince himself that he should kill this old rich man because how is the rich man going to spend all his money? And
Is the lady, rich lady.
Oh, it's a lady. Yeah. How is she going to spend all her rich money? So it's better that, he kills her and then he can enjoy life because he's very young. That, of course, is wrong way to, you know, a, a wrong way to analyze things. But as soon as he kills her, then he becomes afraid of this detective who starts stalking him. And it's like hell. He lives in fear all the time. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I asked like ChatGPT, what are the key lessons from this novel? It said the danger of intellectual hubris.
Intellectual
Hubris,
pride.
because he thought that intellectual arrogance and his belief in his superiority
Mhm.
to justify crime. So the excess of pride and belief that one can operate outside the bounds of conventional morality is not good. So
All
that's
right.
one.
Yeah, if she's an old lady, why should she have so much money? Better you just kill her, take her money, and enjoy life.
Next lesson is that there are consequences of crime.
Yeah, you're gonna get
Every crime,
pursued.
every
Like,
crime inevitably leads to psychological and moral turmoil,
yeah,
guilt, paranoia, madness, uh,
fear
self-destruction. Then next lesson is the complexity of morality.
of morality.
Yeah, complexity of moral decisions and inherent conflict between utilitarianism means
Okay, that's
what
a
is
special.
valuable to me.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look up the definition of that word, utilitarianism.
Utilitarianism is the idea that ends justify the means.
Right. Well, you see, that's a false philosophy.
Yeah. So you can at any cost you can get it as long as the end
Yeah, but there's
goal.
going to be consequences. You'll be fear because there's all these policemen and detectives. They'll be always, one or two steps getting closer and closer to you, and you live a life of fear and anxiety, which is what happened. How does it end? I never.
So
I,
in the end, he basically uh, he goes to he confesses his crime and then he's sentenced to Siberian exile. And then through the suffering but at the same time that lady who was a prostitute, but she's nice, supporting him. So then he regains his conviction to lead a more regular life.
he regains his moral compass.
Moral compass, moral regeneration.
Right. But he gets away with murder.
But he goes to Siberian exile as a sentence, but not a death sentence.
Yeah. Well, Siberia is a death sentence. Somehow or other, he survived. Okay. So that is Crime and Punishment. It's a very famous book. It's usually required reading in college. It's a big book, very, very big book, very psychological.
Turmoil.
How much he got to Maharaj to write that kind of big book?
Dostoevsky, yeah, big Russian writer, very
These
famous.
people who write these complex novels and all, what is their mental composition?
They're a little crazy. Yeah, you have some big writers like Dostoevsky, but there are others that are completely insane and write these very strange books. They're very famous, but they're
What
insane.
was
They're
the
crazy.
motivation to write that kind of books?
Why?
Why and what was the motivation for
To
writing?
make money.
Money?
Yeah, this was written before there was television. When did he write that book? It must have been around,
1890,
what?
1890,
Yeah, 1809. This is before there was television.
1866.
Yeah, this is before there was television. So this was what people would do. They would read these books. And they were long books, and there were a lot of different themes in the book. And Dostoevsky is a very famous author, very famous.
Person they are teaching how to do crime.
No, basically they're teaching the title of the book is Crime and Punishment. They're teaching that,
Yeah.
you can't get away with it. And it's not worth it because look at all the suffering that the criminal goes through because it committed a crime. So whatever, uh, let's say, things that convinced him to do it, in the end, it's not worth it. Ruined his life completely and ruined other people's lives. Has there ever been a perfect crime where the criminal never gets caught? Yes, there has been sometimes. There's some not well. Look this up. Look this up. Are all murderers, let's say, arrested and put into jail? Are you going to be surprised now? In other words, how many murders have never been solved? Let's put it like that. You're going to see that there's a lot of murders that have never been solved.
35 to 40% of the homicides remain unsolved.
Around 50.
You have around 50%.
Yes, ma'am.
1 5?
0.
Yeah, here it
The
says
rate at
35.
which murders nationwide were solved or cleared has dropped to 50%.
Clearance rate means it's solved, and then the unsolved is here it says maybe it fluctuates, but right now it's
Well,
35.
it's a large number.
Yeah, it's about 40%.
Yeah, a lot of murders are never solved. People get away with it. There's no such thing as the perfect crime, although there have been uh, crimes committed that look like perfect crimes because people were never caught. When I say look like crimes, because if they're not caught by the police, they're going to be caught by Yamaraj. But it's a surprising thing. The police don't always catch the criminals. Some criminals are very, very, let's say,
I don't think so. They ever catch the robberies.
well, recently there was a robbery, I don't know, $30 million bank robbery. They haven't caught them yet. It was a huge bank robbery. And the robbers, they're like, PhDs. They have to they have to plan it out and it takes them a long time to get their plan together. And then they have to execute the plan. And then they have to get away, not get caught. And nowadays, when they're in banks, they make notes. Look this up to see if it's true. They make notes that can be traced. They make money that can be traced. And they put some kind of a chip or something. And it's not maybe not $1, but let's say.
Is it not digital currency, Maharaj?
What?
Place it?
What?
Digital currency?
No, it's dollars. But it can be traced, I think. Did it say that?
Mhm.
Yes.
The dollar bills, like many other forms of currency, incorporate various security features to prevent counterfeiting and to trace and authenticate the bills.
Wow.
So they have watermarks. Embedded watermark is visible when the bill is held up in light. Security threads. A plastic security thread is embedded in the bill and is visible when held up to the light. The thread glows under ultraviolet light,
Whoa.
displays micro printing indicating bill's denomination. Then there's micro printing. Uh,
So
difficult to reproduce accurately.
don't heist a bank. You'll get caught.
Color shifting ink.
Wow.
When bill is tilted, there's apparently some, it shifts from copper to green color.
Wow.
3D security ribbon.
Wow.
Particularly on the $100 bill, there is a blue security ribbon woven into the paper. And then enhanced portraits and vignettes. Portraits and other images are printed with fine detail and use intaglio printing, making them difficult to replicate. Raised printing. Genuine bills have distinctive texture due to raised printing, which can be felt by touch. Serial numbers. Each bill has a unique serial number that can be used to trace it.
Hmm.
UV light features, ultraviolet
Wow.
light, specific features of a bill such as security thread will fluoresce in different colors depending on the denomination. Infrared ink, some features are also printed with infrared ink,
Wow.
which is only visible under an infrared light source.
Wow. It's
These
dangerous.
things is put into the bill.
What? Yeah.
These many things are put in dollar bill.
Hmm.
It costs more than $1 to do all of that.
Yeah. Well, the the thieves have to get smarter and smarter, and then the bankers have to get smarter and smarter also to catch the thieves. But still, there are bank robberies. There was recently a bank robbery, $30 million. And they haven't caught him yet. Look that up. Recent.
All the small home robberies, it's nowhere. They don't even
They don't even try.
try.
No. Anything up to $1,000, they don't try to catch them.
$1,000 one and 100K also they don't think so they do it.
Well, they might try, but look it up. There was a big bank robbery recently, a couple months ago, $30 million in the United States. What's it say?
Mm.
people know about 30 million cash is heist in Los Angeles.
What's it say?
Yeah, in one of LA's largest cash heists ever, burglars steal as much as 30 million from the vault.
From the what?
Vault.
Vault.
In one of the largest cash heists in the Los Angeles history, thieves made off with as much as $30 million.
And that's recent, right?
April, yeah.
Yeah, April.
The burglary occurred Sunday night at a facility in Sylmar where cash from businesses across the region is handled and stored. The thieves were able to breach the building as well as the safe where the money was stored. Law enforcement sources said the burglary was among the largest in the city history when it comes to cash and also surpassed any armored car heist in the
Heist.
in the city. Mystery surrounds the break. The sources familiar with the investigation told the Times that burglary crew broke through the roof of the Gerda World building on the Roxford Street to gain access to the vault, but it is unclear how they avoided the alarm system. The Canada-based security company has not responded to the request for comment yet.
They're embarrassed
7,500 pounds.
of money.
That much money. I don't know how they are carrying that.
Yeah, that's heavy.
That's very heavy. News.
Video showed a large cut on the side of the building covered by a piece of plywood. So when they went on Monday, there was nothing in the vault.
Oh, that's a shock.
Yeah.
In other words, the
Didn't
alarm didn't go off. They had a way of this dismembering the alarm clock, the alarm system.
Without alarm.
It's not easy to do things like that. You have to be an expert. And they do it like on a Sunday night when there's nobody.
So they have this big cardboard. In the building, there is a big hole they made.
That much?
And then they were able to pull it through it.
It's not even 2 to 3 feet. No, it's a big.
Maybe 4 or 5 feet.
So right.
It happened on Easter. I think, Easter
Wow.
Sunday.
And it's the Easter Bunny that did it. Okay, I think we'll stop there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, my devotees, my dear devotees. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.